Okay, right. So we'll start with the 2014 A levels, question number 5. Now, 2014 was a little bit of a different paper. It was more like a easy paper, guys, because of the fact that 2013 was hard. So in the 2014 paper, you see there were two questions from unit number 1. All right, there were ideally unit number 2 and 3 early only gave us one question. There were two questions from that. So what they did was unit number 5 and 6, they put it together in question number 5. This is what we actually get in our new format as well. So if you look at the question, they say question number 5, subsection number 2, explain the macroeconomic equilibrium of a simple economy using a diagram. So remember, we talked about what is macroeconomic equilibrium. We talked about that in the previous papers, right? So you can start off your answer with saying macroeconomic equilibrium is where, right, there is no tendency for the let's say the level of national income or the output to increase or decrease. It's a level such like that. And then you can say at this situation, the level of national income that is there is called the macroeconomic equilibrium level of national income. Give that small description, whatever introduction that you give. And then you can say macroeconomic equilibrium can be shown, right, maybe using 3 different approaches. You can say, or the conditions where Y equals E, W equals J, aggregate demand equals aggregate supply, right? You can show all of that. And then what they are mainly telling is explain this using a diagram. So you can draw, right? Now give that for 2 marks, guys. All what I spoke about for 2 marks, the what is macroeconomic equilibrium, the different approaches that we can take, which we already discussed on Tuesday. And then what you can do is you can draw the diagram. So the Y equals E diagram. The total output equals total expenditure, or aggregate output equals aggregate expenditure. So you have the 45-degree line over here. That is the Y equals E line. You have your expenditure curve over there, and they're telling draw it for a simple economy. So then your expenditure will have only consumption plus investment, no government, no net export. And then you can show, look here, this is the equilibrium level of national income. So write one small line about this, right? So you can say, on this approach, right, you can, let's say, mark a point. Let's say you can say point A is the equilibrium, and then you can say YE will denote the equilibrium level of national income. So you get 1 mark for that. Maybe also what you can do is you can also back it up with a W equals J diagram. Okay, you can maybe draw that in the same Y equals E also, but it would have, maybe you can even draw it separately. So in your W equals J diagram, this mark the axes and all properly. W equals J, this is the income, this is also income, this is the expenditure. Okay, so you have your withdrawals curve going like that. You have your injections curve coming like this. And the point where withdrawals and injections intersect each other, that is what we call what? That is what we call the equilibrium. It's a Y equilibrium level of national income. So, you can draw these, you can show how the diagram looks, and you can explain. It's a very easy question. So please practice writing answers. Is that okay, guys? Fine. Can you explain macroeconomic equilibrium with a diagram? Okay. Give me a second to switch my Wi-Fi. Okay, right. Then, guys, we'll get into in some the real GDP is what you call the aggregate output of the country. No? So you can either say Y or you can say real GDP. Real GDP is the aggregate output of the country, the total output of the country without inflationary effects. Okay. Now, next one. What is the impact of investment multiplier in determining the national income. Explain with an example. There was a question before also, no? There was a question before also in one of the papers that asked you to explain what is the investment multiplier or what is the expenditure multiplier. So they are asking what is the impact of investment multiplier in determining national income. So how can you start your answer? They are also saying explain with an example. You can start your answer with saying that when investment or any other autonomous expenditure increases, national income increases a multiple number of times. So for example, if investment increases by this amount, national income will increase by a certain amount, which is much greater than the increase in investment. Now, this relationship is shown by what? The investment multiplier. So you can also then go and say, look here, the investment multiplier is equal to the change in national income, divided by the change in investment. So what you need to try to show is that this increases multiple number of times. Then they're also saying, guys, explain with an example. So you can say, for example, in a hypothetical economy, now use words like that. That makes it, those are like the examiner's words, no? Okay. So you can say, assume in a hypothetical economy, if the marginal propensity to consume is a 0.8. So you're giving your example, right? You give your own numerical example. Assume that in a hypothetical economy, MPC is 0.8. And then you can say, accordingly, the multiplier is 1 over 1 minus MPC. And you can say, look here, the multiplier here is a 5 times. I'm hoping you all know how to calculate that. And then say, in a situation as such, if investments rises or increases by, let's say, increases by 100 million, national income will increase by, you can say, a 500 milli. And also, if you want, you can give another example, and you can say, in the event when MPC increases, right? When MPC increases to, let's say, 0.9, then multiplier will become 10, and then national income will increase by 1,000. Your initial increase of 100 will lead to a twisting of 1,000. And you can give a small numerical example like that. And then the examiner knows, look here, this fellow knows what the investment multiplier is, and he knows how it works. Can you handle a question like that? Yes. To give a numerical example and talk about what is the investment multiplier. Okay, so you all have to write, right? For these kind of things, because these kind of things are things that you have to practice writing. Not that they're not testing a very difficult area. What they're testing is, can you put some points into together to get your 4 marks. Okay, so that was the 2014 A-level paper. There are only 2 subsections. So probably I think the other subsections of question 5, we would have discussed in unit number 5. So if you're watching the YouTube video Little Lost where the other subsections are, should be in the question 5 playlist in the 2014 thing. Okay, right. So with that, we'll wrap up 2014. We'll move to the next.